What's up, guys? Alex Hoddle here, InstinctReport.com. Thanks for joining me. I came across this notification on my phone. I couldn't help but do a video about this. But, of course, Washington Post, Mark Zuckerberg writes a piece for it. Of course, during the day, during the hearings in Congress where all these media companies want to explain themselves. But Mark Zuckerberg, protecting democracy is an arms race. Here's how Facebook can help. Well, one, we're not a democracy. And that's kind of like the first assumption. A lot of the trickery by these social engineers are assumptions. They just make you assume we're a democracy, where the 40 or 51% can vote to kill the 49%. That's what a democracy can do. But it's an arms race. And here's how Facebook can help. Okay, so these billionaires are our saviors now. And first, that headline kind of caught me off guard. Like, what the fuck is he meaning? But you read the article and it's implied that they're in an arms race against fake news. And of course, what they mean by fake news is just not CNN, anything that leans left. Because eventually they want to take Fox News off and they want to replace the CNN and MSNBC's traditional media with their AI, which he goes on in this article and admits that there's they have AI systems going around and making sure there isn't any fake news or anything out there. I'm trying to find where it says it right here. It's in like 5th or 6th paragraph down. Well, I don't want to bore you guys, so I might have to. Yeah, I can't find it, but it's in here somewhere. I'll have a link to the Washington Post article when I upload this video. But one thing I noticed, listen to this paragraph he wrote in one of it, Zuckerberg. And it was funny because when I was writing kind of some of these notes for this video here, I titled it Zuck the Fuck, which I think is fitting. He says, "This is especially true when it comes to elections. Free and fair elections are the heart of every democracy. Again, assuming that we are a democracy. During the 2016 elections, we were actively looking for traditional cyber attacks. We found them. What we didn't find until later were foreign actors running in coordinated campaigns to interfere with America's democratic process." See, notice he didn't say there America's democracy. It's a democratic process because we are a democratic republic. So that implies that he knows that we aren't a democracy, but is just projecting that anyway because he knows that the people who follow Facebook are stupid fucks, or what he said. He knows that the Facebook followers, the general population out there, isn't very smart. And they just don't see past this kind of stuff. Since then, we focus on improving our defenses and making it much harder for anyone to interfere in the elections. You read the article, you notice scattered throughout it is all sorts of links. He links to all sorts of stuff. But what he doesn't link to, which is very telling, which would have been the most important link in the whole article, but he doesn't link to it, is when he said, we didn't find until later were foreign actors running in coordinated campaigns to interfere with America's democratic process. He should have put a link in there of something that he put a link to how they stopped some foreign actors in the Brazil elections, but he didn't do it for America's elections, which would be the most important link in the article. The only thing that they can point to are just some Russian bots that were trying to create discord. But the article goes on, talks about how Mark Zuckerberg is just like this patriot who just doesn't want to interfere with the elections and everything, when he just goes on, talks about how he's just helping out all these other countries and fucking with their elections. But if you recall back in 2014, Zuckerberg meets with China's interior regulator. This is from USA Today. Learning to speak Chinese, notoriously tough language, wasn't enough. Now Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg is plowing through the speech of China's Communist Party chief and foreign colleagues to do the same. Chinese government, but he's meeting with the Chinese government. He's meeting with about censorship. He's talking about. See all these big techs. They're working with like the super censors over there in communist China, who get their tactics from minimally inspired by Soviet Russia. And they're notorious for propaganda. I mean, in just the wording, polishing turds. Nazis did that too, but this is what these people do. This in Zuckerberg knows that people believe this stuff. And that's why he published this article onto the Washington Post the day that they were in front of this hearing, in front of Congress, in order to kind of save face a little bit and pretend that he's some patriot who's for free speech. But then you look at the whole thing and it's all about how you're going to have to go jump through all these hoops to say anything political, and you're most likely going to be considered fake. Or no, they don't. He didn't even use fake news anymore. They're using false news or misinformation. And again, he talks about in the article. He talks about how they're so transparent and everything, but doesn't define what fake news is, or in this case, false news, because fake news has been turned against them onto like MSNBC and CNN and everything, because they're just so notoriously deceptive. So. But doesn't define what fake news is or false news, but then at the same time talking about how transparent they are. And again, not providing a link in Zuckerberg's link-riddled article about just expanding on what he's trying to say. But again, no transparency in the main points there. What foreign entity interfered with our elections, and how did they do it? He didn't provide a link because there is no information. Only thing they got are some just low-level bots. They're just, if anything, by the Russian government, they're just trying to sow confusion and public division. And if you want to blame them for that, then I guess they were successful, because look at all Antifas and everything and all this race shit going around. But never mind communist China, which he's openly working with and helping with the censorship there, and censorship's the name of the game. And so bringing this up, we're gonna have to talk about Alex Jones for a second, because he's kind of the taboo here. You're not supposed to listen to him, but you do, kind of under the covers. You don't tell anybody. You'll be like, oh, he's okay. I agree with some of the stuff he says. Or, yeah, I know who he is. But because they made a taboo around this guy. And like what he says, they built a straw man around him. And he's right. In the sense, if they take him down, or the straw man they created about him down, then they can take you down. Because they're going to use that as the pretext in link, whether you agree with them or not, or you're even on the other side of the aisle. They're already starting to do this with other videos. They even talk mildly about Alex Jones. What they want to do is they're going to link you to this straw man, which is a regular Nazi tactic where if they didn't like you, if you represented any sort of Jewry, then you're Jewish propaganda, or in the Communist Party that you're capitalist propaganda or anti-Soviet, anti-socialist, anti-Marxist propaganda. Even if just look at Trotsky and everybody else that Stalin put into the Gulag or had executed, which were like some of his right-hand men, some of them like ideological diehards of the Communist Party. And then he would accuse them of sabotage or any capitalist conspiracy or something. So that's what they're going to try to do with Alex Jones. For anybody, if you even touch on something that he's touched on in his thousands and thousands of episodes in his decades on air, if you even talk about, because you better believe all that stuff is uploaded to the internet and transcribed by AI into words and stuff and everything you say. I mean, just like just think the automatic closed captions on Facebook. It detects what you say, voice recognition. And if you even spout anything that even resembles what he said, that the AI, as this article from that Mark Zuckerberg wrote to the Washington Post admit, the AI is watching what you say, they're going to ban you because you said some stuff that is fake news, because that was linked to Alex Jones, fake news. So anything you say that resembles what Alex Jones says is considered fake, misinformation, or fake news, according to the AI that's run by people like Mark Zuckerberg, who work with the communist Chinese. So this is how like this communism is creeping into the United States here, and it's just the most amazing thing that is coming in from the bourgeoisie, like the richest people in the world. Here we have Apple and Amazon, like working with the Chinese, and just like the $2 trillion companies in the world. I mean, you want to talk about the bourgeoisie of the bourgeoisie. And these guys are the ones that are creeping in the communism here. And what this tells me, that these people, they're the bourgeoisie of the bourgeoisie, as bringing in this communism, they're so far ahead of Antifa. And just like what Stalin did, they're going to get, if they get their way, they're going to get rid of Antifa. I mean, they're going to be the first people to go. I mean, meanwhile, like the Patriots are going to be, if this goes down this way, they're going to be taken to the woods. They're going to be living off the land. They're going to be, they're going to be fighting. They're going to be fighting to the death. Meanwhile, Antifa and all these other leftists and kids in academia, they're going to be hauled off willingly into the camps or off to the execution, because make no mistake of it, they're going to want to employ the same communist things here. I mean, just what Cass Sunstein said when yeah, it's necessary for 50 million people to go in the United States. We're just going to have to do it. I mean, it's part of the plan. I mean, it just is what it is. It's hard to wrap your mind around this stuff, because we're so comfortable in America. And even in the Soviet times, or pre-Soviet times, I mean, the public executions, or executions of the citizens, was so minuscule pre-Soviet era that the general population didn't even fathom something like that happening. And then it turned into barbarism, where they literally stuck red hot iron rods up people's booty butts. Like some of the most unspeakable tortures that you can even think of happened under the Soviet Union. And why would you even want to cling to that ideology if it's attached to that kind of evil? I mean, it boggles the mind. I mean, because with Sovietism, communism, what it does, it makes you want to be a victim. It tells you that there's bad guys out there, and it tells you that we need to get them, and then replace, and all it does, even if there were old bad guys, it just replaces the old bad guys with much worse bad guys. And it's just incredible. It's really bad. But I don't think they're going to win, because, I mean, just by sheer fact of this article from Mark Zuckerberg, that he has to write this to save face, and even in this article, it's a deception in and of itself. It tells me that these people are desperate. I mean, the public opinion is not in their favor. Even with like leftists and everything, people, when you talk to an average person who doesn't wear their liberalism on their sleeve, who isn't proud of their brainwashing, which is becoming increasingly harder to find, they're gonna start to understand this whole AI technocratic big tech monopoly system. And they'll be like, oh yeah, it's really bad. What can we do about it? But at least that they're starting to think in that direction, the general population, which is a very comforting thing. Very comforting thing. Unless you're just like some crazy leftist who just doesn't even, who just invests so much into this leftism that you're proud to be brainwashed. You just don't even care. That's what I got for you today. Alex Hodel, InstinctReport.com. Hope you enjoyed the video. Spread it around because we need every piece of information out there that we can get before it's censored, even though it's probably going to be censored on YouTube the second it gets uploaded by its AI systems, whatever. Then check it out on DTube. We need all this. We need to just dominate the public discourse in this. We need to make this untaboo to talk about, which is hard to do, which I even have to restrain from my own personal life. But it's something we got to do because that's the goal. That's what they did in the Soviet Union. Even if you even thought of talking about something, or even somebody made up something up about you that you talk badly about the Communist Party, they're going to arrest you in the middle of the night, send you to the Gulag for 20 years. And this is how it started. This is how this kind of stuff gets comfortable. This PC-ness, this PC culture. It's kind of getting you acclimated into feeling guilty for saying something that might go against something that's out of bounds. That is, according to them, that's PC. There's no PC handbook because it changes all the time. But this is how they get people ready for self-censorship and then, the Gulag. It's amazing that's happening here. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. And make no mistake of it, if this happens, even from me watching this, because the American record keeping just is just a Goliath compared to the Stasi record keeping back in Nazi Germany. Like, what they had was like what the American government has. And what the AI has, even China, because everything Apple goes through China. Everything that gets put onto one of their devices goes through China. All that personal information, everything you talk about, all the discourse, everything, these days, stored digitally, is like War and Peace. And what the German Stasis had is like a Post-it note. They have everything. So if they get their way, I mean, there's going to be more gulags than farms. Like, it's just going to be insane. That's what I got. InstinctReport.com. Check out that site. Spread the links, spread the articles. I definitely appreciate it. I want your feedback too. I'm always practicing, always becoming better, and I want to, I don't like these people, and I want to do my part. So, you guys have a good one.